Washington, D.C., Salman al-Ansari is a Saudi political researcher and commentator. Also in the U.S. Capitol, Barbara Slavin is a distinguished fellow of Middle East and North Africa at the Stimson Center. From Virginia, we're joined by Trita Parsi. He is the executive vice president at the Quincy Institute. And from Tehran, Iran, we're joined by Ali Akbar Dareni, who is a researcher and writer. And welcome to all of you to the show.
The Saudis have come to the conclusion that, first of all, they can no longer trust the United States as a security guarantor because the Houthi attacks on Saudi Aramco oil facilities in 2019 and America's lack of intervention in that proved that they can no longer rely on the United States. And in this era of transition towards a multipolar system, the Saudis need to diversify their foreign policy alliances, and now they see that they can gain more if they cooperate with Iran instead of being in conflict.
Okay, Salman al-Ansari, what do you make of that? Ali Akbar Dareni telling us there that Saudi Arabia sees far more advantages in re-establishing relations with Iran rather than maintaining the status quo, and the fact that Saudi Arabia, as he put it, doesn't trust the United States right now as a security guarantor.
Yeah, thank you so much. Just to correct your honorable guest, the attack that happened against the oil installations in Saudi Arabia came from the north, not from the Houthis. So it was from Iran, basically, through their Iraqi militias. Anyhow, with regards to the Saudi position, the Saudi position has been very clear. We have a development model that we want to advance. And the Saudi finance minister lately, he actually said, Mohammed al-Jad'an, he said Saudi Arabia may invest in Iran very quickly. That's what he said, very quickly. So, and we all know that the Saudi exports globally amount to over $260 billion. Iran's export is below 16 billion. So the economic scene in both countries are very different. However, I think, and I'm not being hyperbolic here, but I think Iran can become the second biggest economy in the region and a member of the G20 if they forget about the nonsense of their dogmatic revolutions. And if they do so, that will definitely be at the benefits for everybody.
Right.
And we know that the Iranian economy is in a very difficult time, 45% of the population under the poverty line due to the IRGC controls of half of the economy. So imagine the kind of economy they have and imagine the kind of future it will have. So definitely we want Iran to be a normal nation, not a revolutionary one. So when it comes to this issue, I think we have to go back to the deal. There are, like the Iran, Saudi, China deal. There are, I think, two parts of the agreement, I suppose. The one that was released, and there's another one that is undisclosed. The released statement talked about the bilateral relations and nothing about the regional issues, such as the Iranian militias in Yemen, Lebanon, Iraq, and Syria, which I'm sure that the three parties covered these issues without disclosing them for different considerations. We can see that through the Saudi opening to the Syrian regime, plus the Saudi opening to the Houthis in Yemen, etc. And I don't think the Saudis did these openings without some guaranteed compromises from the Iranian regime. And we know that the Iranians know exactly what the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia wants. It's a very simple request. Stop supporting terrorism and stop interfering in domestic affairs of the Arab world. There are two major differences between this deal and the previous one. In fact, it's considered to be a big thing because it's guaranteed by China and brokered and mediated by China. The second thing is the fact that it came from the hardliners and the conservatives in Iran, not the so-called moderates. So, and I recall the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman when he said in his first interview, when he spoke about Iran, that the Iranian tactic was to warm up relations with Saudi Arabia when they have a moderate regime, then revoke all the agreements when they have conservative ones. So right now, the conservatives are the ones who took this step, which is somehow more assuring that they will uphold to their promises. And we all wish. And at the same time, China is almost the one and only country that has substantial leverage over Iran, besides the fact that China considers the Middle East as a very vital region for their economy. 40% of their energy comes from the region, and the Belt and Road Initiative, the BRI, will go through both Iran and Saudi Arabia. So there is an intrinsic interest for Beijing to mediate between the kingdom and Iran. And let's just hope that the Saudis and Iranians will find a common ground through which they can both focus on nothing but economic empowerment and prosperity rather than just warfare and conflict.